Good morning, everyone. It is 5:45 a.m. on Friday, February 15th. Last trading day of the week. Also, options expiration day. So that can often bring with it some very interesting things. We'll have to see what today brings. Anyway, all right, let's take a look at the markets. I, of course, am Jonathan van Clute with Stock Navigators, doing what we do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings. And if you like these videos, please do like, comment, subscribe, give us some feedback. Let us know what else we can do to help in your trading. All right, let's start with the S&P 500. This is the ES or the E-mini futures contract. And the futures have just been pushing up, 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 up. Just not giving us anything even remotely resembling a decent retracement. We had this initial pullback here, which was great. And then it's just been up, 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 up. I mean, we had this little itty bitty pullback here, but it doesn't amount to anything. Same story here. We just have not gotten on a daily basis a significant retracement of this big up move. And I'm waiting for it. I am expecting somewhere around in here. Somewhere up in here is where I would expect this market to bump its head and come back. It has just been absolutely unwilling to give up any ground at all. The buyers are incredibly ferocious and just will not be put back. So the trend on the 21 EMA clearly very up, and we just keep breaking, high after high after high, and making higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. So it is a very strong up move with no real signs of any kind of a pullback at all. So that kind of brings us, other than watching for this previous triple top area here, that kind of brings us to our 60-minute chart, smaller time frame, which obviously is just a more detailed view of the same thing at this level. And if we zoom in here, we can start to see that there is certainly, there's tradable movement. We had a great move here, starting at, I'm guessing that's probably midnight. Yep, when Europe came online, right here, we had a fantastic long signal and just a beautiful trade this morning. If you were the type to be up in the wee hours of the morning, midnight Pacific time, 3 a.m. Eastern, somewhere in there. There is often a great trade to be had right as Europe comes online. So, keep that in mind. Sometimes it actually might be a good idea to trade outside the regular U.S. session hours. But notice where we are now. We've pushed up, 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 up. And right now our high is right there. And our previous high is right there. Our previous lower high on a short-term basis. We had the high, we had a lower high, we had a lower high, etc. So we're in potentially kind of done territory here. After a push like this overnight, retracing this entire move, I don't know if the buyers will have it in them once the bell sounds this morning to push up into and break this area up here. So this is delicate territory here. We got to be cautious and trade really carefully. Make sure that you are following the trend direction right now. Short term, the 60-minute trend is certainly up. And if you had to make a trade right this moment, you want to go with the trend. But always keep in mind, it's already made a big move. So just watch out for that. Let's see. Anything else? No, that about covers it on the ES, I think. Just really watch that opening bell and watch to see if we run out of gas and turn around. Just kind of what I'm thinking is reasonably likely. All right, crude oil has also just been on a real strong upwards push, but it got up into this area here, which was actually it got over this little congestion zone highs here. It did manage to poke up above them and then retreated and gave up. Now the question is, will it have the momentum to break out on this final push? Now, it is very common in the markets. You see situations where you have the first time an area is formed, a zone is formed, then you have the first time back into that zone. It very, very often retreats from it, but then you have the third time back into that zone, and it will very often break it. So we'll need to watch very closely here to see what's going to happen. Crude is adhering pretty well to this uptrend line that I drew from these points back here. And it did poke down below it, but then just shot right back up above it again and is riding it. So this is a very key level here, right around this 45, I mean, 54, 55 level. There's this whole zone here is very critical. So watch for a break outside of that zone, and that would certainly indicate continued momentum to the upside. And then the next level to test would be the previous highs here, and then just marching right on back up to reclaim some of this downtrend here. So right now, daily basis, trend is up. Go with the trend. Now, on an intraday basis, we keep just getting stuck in these areas here. We did break out past to the upside of this descending trend line that I had drawn here. So managed to bust past that a few days ago. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this and zoom out a little bit. And you can just see this has just been a really messy sideways area on a 60-minute chart. Just been really kind of bouncing back and forth between these zones. Right now, we are above that upper zone, which is certainly a bullish sign. I mean, you can very clearly see that the 21 EMA is strongly up. Everything is making higher highs and higher lows, but we still have to get over that. And so far, we have not done it. So watch that area. That is really what we're looking for to see follow through to the upside and see some real significant bullish momentum. Okay, take a quick peek at gold. And gold is just still in this channel. It did manage to bump above this parallel channel that was down here, and now it's just stuck in this congestion area I had previously kind of drawn a zone for. And sure enough, we've just been mostly hanging out in there. A few little attempts to poke below it, but they are just immediately pushed right back up into it. So there's a lot of strength right now in gold, and with the nervousness in the markets and uncertainty and so forth, that kind of fits that narrative. So that's not terribly surprising. But that being said, we have been sort of stuck in this area for a while. We're not really seeing a sharp trend right now. Right now is that sideways period, which is what markets do, right? They make a push up, they go sideways, and they make another push, then they go sideways. That's how markets move. From all the way back here, we saw the same thing: push, and then kind of sideways, drift down, push, sideways, drift down, etc. Well, let me shut that up. Yeah. So gold is doing higher highs and higher lows. There's no question about it. The trend is up. You can very clearly see it on the daily 21 EMA. It is definitely pointing upwards. So we've got strength. We definitely have a bullish momentum going on here, but we got to get over this. And then ultimately, really, we got to get over this. So watch for those, and obviously to the downside, if the market were to come down and take out that low, then there's a very likely chance that it's going to try to retest this low. But at the moment, there seems to be just a lot of bullish strength, so that does not seem to be the highest probability outcome at the moment. The pressure is definitely to the upside. We did manage to hop up over this descending trend line that I had previously drawn, so I will get rid of it and take a look here, and you can see on a smaller time horizon, we had these two zones here, and gold busted through the upper zone and then tested it as support, tested it as support, tested it as support. It has been holding. So we've got some very strong support down in here. And every time gold tests it, it holds. So if we break that to the downside, if you see a break of this to the downside, then certainly we're going to come down and probably even test this zone here. But certainly test this area here would be very, very reasonable. But like I said, the pressure is to the upside. There's no question about it. So watch for a takeout of this high, and be a good indication that gold is really wanting to move higher. Natural gas. Let's see what's happening there. Natural gas, just not a lot of strength. It's not collapsing. It's just kind of hanging down here. Every time it tries to kind of jump up a little bit, it gets pushed back down. So there is certainly still downwards pressure from the top on natural gas, pushing it down. And I would not be at all surprised, zoom out here, to see it come down and test these two zones from back here, and then the final line of defense back here. So that is certainly the way it's heading. It has been staying way below this extremely steep trend line. I mean, that is a hell of a trend line, and it is definitely holding right to it. So just textbook perfect follow that trend line. Certainly, you can see the 21 EMA is pointing downwards. There's no question, but we do kind of have a double bottom here. So far, it's gotten down there twice, and both times it's rejected, has not been able to get below it. So, what's going to happen there? Are we going to establish a base down here and maybe rally from there? We will have to wait and see. Does it get over this trend line? That will be a good first indication that something might be reversing and things might be turning around. So watch for that. Watch for a break of that trend line, and then watch for a retest of the trend line and for it to hold. If you see that, then there's a pretty good indication that the momentum of the trend is changing and we're looking to start going to the upside. And you can see that double bottom really beautifully here. The 21 EMA shows it comes down, hooks around, and then it comes down and hooks around, and it's doing that right now. So I mean, it certainly could fail and then head lower, but at the moment anyway, it is holding as support. But watch for a takeout of that low. If you see that, then there is very likely continuation to the downside. You could even you could throw a little descending trend line right there. Something along the lines of, say, this maybe. Do actually, that's already been broken even. So let's, whoops, where's my trend? There we go. Probably do something a little bit more like maybe this. You do something like that on the shorter term time frame, and if price is able to hop over that and then hold that as support, then there's a decent likelihood that we're going to move higher. But obviously, we have to establish higher highs and higher lows really to conclude that. So we got to take out this high here before we can definitively say that yeah, there's momentum to the upside, and that is suspiciously close to this zone here. So really, that's what I would love to see. I would love to see a hop over this zone and then pull back, establish a higher low, and then we've got the makings of an uptrend beginning. So keep an eye out on those, but certainly to the downside, if we see a continuation below the low of this candle, then very likely we are going to move lower to possibly test these two zones. And last but not least, let's finish up with crypto, Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is still just in that wedge. Nothing really has changed there. So Bitcoin's in the wedge. What else can you say? The trend right now is very sideways on the 21 EMA. Nothing really going on here. We had this little hop here and then sideways. And, that's what Bitcoin especially tends to do. Markets in general do this, but Bitcoin especially does these big, huge, or sudden moves up or down, and then kind of sideways or drift, and then shock move up and sideways, etc. So right now, I mean, we are smack in the middle of this wedge. Just bouncing around in the middle of the wedge. Could be really interesting to see what happens when we get to the end of that wedge. Do we squirt to the upside or do we squirt to the downside? Where are we going to slip out of the pressure of these two squeezing trend lines? So just watch for that. If we're going to move higher, we've got to do higher highs and higher lows. Ultimately, we got to take out that level there. To head lower, though, we only got to take out this level here. So right now, I would say the path of least resistance is to the downside, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're heading down. Until we see something actually confirm that we're breaking that low and heading lower, then we just don't know. So right now, kind of in the middle of nowhere on a daily. Now on a 60, if you can manage to time it such that you catch these big, huge moves, obviously there is still volatility to be had here. The tricky thing about Bitcoin is it really, these moves come so fast. I mean, they come crazy fast. So when these happen, you kind of already have to be positioned. Otherwise, you're chasing something that is moving super quick. And that definitely is a recipe for possibly getting hurt. So trade very cautiously there. We've got this descending trend line here to look at. So as price tries to work its way upwards, watch to see what happens when it gets up there. But right now, we had lower lows and lower highs, and trying to change that, but haven't done it yet. So right now, it's just kind of messy. Not a real clear trend, not a real clear picture. I see this as kind of a wait and see. I don't see this as a pending trade or anything like that. But that's just me. If you see something different, if this suits you, suits your trading system, your style, your parameters, then by all means, trade it. All right, one last quick peek at the S&P 500, and it is still just kind of hanging out there at the highs of this morning. And we'll have to see what happens at the bell. It's going to be very interesting. So 30 minutes to go, and we will see what the market wants to do this morning. with the U.S. participants. So I am going to wrap things up now, call that a morning analysis, and get ready to go into the premium chat room and meet with our other students and give them a map of the day ahead and see what happens in the first hour. And it's going to be a good day. I'm sure it will. So I hope you have a great day as well. As always, remember to trade well and apply good risk management and money management and position sizing and all that good stuff. Make sure you do that because it's really important. So once again, I'm Jonathan van Clute with Stock Navigators, reminding you to please like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know if you like these videos or if there's anything else that I can do to help you with your trading or any other analysis you'd like to see or any questions, comments, anything like that. We love the feedback. So that is all. Hope you all have a great day, and I will do this again Monday morning. All right. And for any of our students that are on the call, I will see you in the premium room in about 15 minutes or so. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.